Hi, everyone. Thank you, Monica, for your time. We're just gonna have like a really casual conversation about SLU Madrid, to give students an idea of what it would be like to study there and to help them figure out if it's a good fit for them. Um, and so we kind of wanted to start, Monica, by just asking you about your experience with SLU over the years. What has been your role, your interactions?
Okay, let me introduce a little bit about who I am. I am Monica Chiclana, and I have been working in the admissions department here in the St. Louis campus in Madrid for the last 12 years. Also, I graduated from St. Louis University in 1983, long time, last century, last millennial. And I really enjoyed because I followed the path of 2 years in Madrid and 2 years in the States. Nowadays, you can do that degree here, the 4 years if you want, and there are more options to it. So I also am in charge of all the Latin American countries. I work with the students coming from those countries, as I was born in Venezuela. So I know a little bit about the system in South America. I studied in Spain and in the United States. So I have, I think, the best of the three places where I have been living. So that's why I'm in charge of that area. And I am also in charge of all the students of international schools in Spain. So I'm very glad to be here with you, contributing to my experience and what we can offer here in our campus in Madrid.
That's wonderful to hear that you've had such a long trajectory with the school, just been so involved. Yeah.
Well, I can say about San Luis Madrid campus, we are the oldest, if not the oldest, one of the oldest university in Europe. We've been here 55 years, and we're a real American university, fully accredited, because there are other look-alike or be-alike American universities, but we have a home campus back in the States. So not all of the American universities in Europe do. There are some, but I believe we are the ones with the highest number of degrees that you can complete in Madrid. There are 15 of them, and there are 2 graduate programs that we have too, that you can do here in summer times or a year and a half in a row, depending on what you need or you can do. It's all taught in English, which is very interesting. You don't need to know Spanish if you know a little bit better, because when you get here, you will learn the language too, if you put yourself to do that, because you could go I have seen students coming in, going through the 4 years, only hanging around with American friends, and they speak very little Spanish. So don't be afraid if you don't speak Spanish to come here. It's a full American degree, 100%. So, and you might have some Spanish classes that are mandatory, maybe because they are not offered in English, but it's usually not the case. That wouldn't be a problem. All the degrees that you can start in Madrid, you can, besides the 15 that we offer, there are about 90 degrees that San Luis University home campus offers. About 60 of them can be started in Madrid. You can do the first 2 years and the last 2 years in the home campus in the States, or since we're fully accredited, that permits you to transfer your credits to any other accredited institution in the United States, which I think is very interesting to know, because many times when students are applying to American universities, they do not know they're all fully accredited. And being fully accredited, what gives you the option to transfer to any other university afterwards if you don't want to go to St. Louis University, for example. So that's what makes it flexible, and it's also a seal of quality. I keep on talking.
No, that's amazing.
Well, I'm not sure if I'm cutting out at all either. I think, for students too, they're trying to figure out, what does actually being accredited means, or what does it actually mean if you're getting a US degree when you're in Spain. I think if you can just kind of give an overview too, because a lot of students, especially kind of with our audiences too, they're from Latin America. They have an interest definitely in Europe. Maybe they've had stronger ties with the US in the past, and they're still trying to figure out what that means and maybe what that situation would look like and being over in Spain in general. I mean, can you just talk about maybe if they're not decided about their degree, what the major they want to study, what sort of support they can receive, just kind of aspects like that that maybe separates you guys too also from other universities in Spain when they realize, oh, okay, yeah, Spain is definitely on my radar of where I want to go.
Oh, I think the SLU-Madrid is an excellent option if you don't want to go to the States and you want to follow an American education. We offer the liberal arts, which to me is very interesting because when, as you were saying, Kristen, when you don't know what you want to study in this liberal arts core, you're touching a little bit of all the areas of studies. Let's say you might not like math, but you're going to get some math. Might not like history, but you're going to get some history. And like that with many other subjects, which at the same time, you're attending school, you're covering those core curriculum at the university levels, because many times students from South America might say, I already took history and international history in high school. Well, but this is in a different level. It goes to a university level, it's more comprehensive, and it integrates with other courses. So all this will give you a little bit better knowledge of what you might want to study, because also there are some free elective courses. Let's say you are deciding between marketing and psychology. Since there are electives, free electives, you can take one class in marketing, you can take one class in psychology, see what you like most. You can talk to other peers while attending class. You can talk to the heads of the department about these degrees, how they would match with your personality, with what you would like to study. And we will guide you all the way through until you decide which major you want to complete. I don't know if everybody that will be listening to our conversation knows about how the American system is, but the American system has that, to me, beauty. Then you can start college without knowing what to study, but you are starting to build the basis of what's going to be your major. The major will be in, like they say in Espanol, la carrera, okay? And the core liberal arts is the base of where you're building your degree, so the rest of the house. And that, to me, when you don't know what to study, you can start 1 year in the regular Spanish school, any other European system, and you study, let's say, law. You don't like it and you change, all that year is gone. You have to start again from zero. Good for you because you have that knowledge, but it doesn't count if you want to go into a different career path. So I think that's one of the beauties and flexibilities of the American system. Also, each year is broken into 2 semesters. So you won't carry on a, let's say I take a course in economics. I won't have it the entire year. You have a semester to complete it. And if you are not doing very good in that subject, let's say the professors at St. Louis University, since we're very close knit and a small size, they're always very much in touch with the students. They can see you're not doing good. And they will ask you, why aren't you advancing as you should? Are you having any problems? Can I help you? Can I give you extra homework? Do you want to have a special hours with us, with me, so I can teach you or let you see what you are not understanding? So I think that's excellent. And you will complete that in a semester and go on. But let's say it's the teacher that you don't like. You don't like the professor that is given that. You can drop that subject, take another at the beginning of the semester, and see if a different professor offers it the second semester. So those things are things that, for me, they're exclusive to the American system, which makes it very practical, very easy to maintain your good level if you study every day. Like everything, nothing is free. You have to study and work, but it's easy. You are not dragging down a class from your first year into second year because you didn't pass that course. And I think that's excellent. I also think it's very important. Our classes are very small. An average class is 17 students per class. So imagine that at a university level, that's excellent. I call San Luis University a boutique university because university the size of a high school, probably a good big high school is, but at university level, I think that's like a little jewel. And in that respect, we know you staff and professors by name and not by number. And also attending classes is very important to pass a class. If you don't show up at class, maybe the professor can say, no pass. So it's just, the courses are based in 3 pillars: attendance, studying, and doing more than homework. We work a lot in teams, and we present in teams in classes, and that's the way that classes are graded. So I think it's very interesting. It's the person is taught not just to memorize, but to know why they do the things. They are taught how to work in teams. They are taught how to debate in class. And even sometimes if you don't agree with your professor, you might say, I don't agree because 1, 2, 3, and 4. If you can demonstrate why not, he will say, good for you. You have come up with your own critical thinking, which is very important. And that's another thing that is taught and emphasized in St. Louis, critical thinking, not memorizing. You have to know why you're doing things and what to use them for. And also, as a Jewish institution, we want to give back what we learn in the university to others. So in that respect, I think it's very interesting too.
It sounds like a wonderful academic experience, like just getting all that one-on-one support, you know, from professors, having them know you, the small classrooms.
Yeah. And there are more types of support, not only academically. There's a student life that is going to help you all through. We at admissions first, we help you all through the application process. We'll tell you all the documents you need. We're going to be there until you're admitted. When we review your application, depending on your grades, on the essay you have written, in all the volunteering work or sports you have played, all those kinds of things, we will look at all this as a whole. And when we make a decision, every student too is a candidate for a merit-based scholarship automatically. You don't have to apply for it. You will be granted one. At the same time, there are other scholarships that can be offered to students. They can work on campus while they're attending school for a discount in their tuition. And that's about not more than 10 hours per week. It could be less than that. And also that will give the student a little bit of a work experience that they can put in their first curriculum they write when they go looking for a job, for example. Also, if they come from a Catholic school or a Jesuit school, they will get another award, discount award to tuition fee. So that's a way in admissions to help and support student coming in. Then student life with admissions will help students to get the visa. We don't do it, we leave the student do it, but we give them all the guidelines of how to approach the consulate, what documents they're going to send, what letters are they going to receive from us, the acceptance letters, the medical insurance, all that has to be turned into the consulate. And we're in constant communication with the student, asking them, in what step of your visa process are you? So it's not that we just hand it to them, they have to do it, but we're like in the back, like a father or mother saying, did you do it? Did you turn it on time? Do you have your passport is valid? Have you booked your ticket? So in that respect, we keep holding you by the hand until you get here. The process sometimes is like with COVID, this year with the pandemic has been tedious, let me say, because the consulates have been closed, or when they opened, they had such a work overload that it has been taking students such a long time. And it's like on the limit when they got here, they got the passport, the visa, and they're so happy. Once they're here, it's students, I hear them saying, it was all worth it. So we will help you with that. Same with housing. There is no housing, you're free to choose whatever housing you want. There are no requirements. There were some until last year, now there's 0. We ask for students in the first year if they want to live in a residencia, which regular hall, residency hall like in the States. because in that way they will meet students from other European Spanish universities in the area and live with other Spanish students in the same time. That will force them a little bit to learn the language, to a culture immersion, which is good, and everything is taken care in that building. You have the cafeteria, the laundry, the exercise room, and all that. That's one of the options that we recommend for the first year. Usually what happens after that first year, students get to meet their peers, they become little groups, and they say, I would like to house with Emir, Monica, and Kristen. Let's rent an apartment and share expenses. And that's usually what students do in their second year. Okay, and there are all the study abroad students that come here that for them, for example, we recommend to live with families, with the Spanish families, and we call them señoras. For whatever reason, they put that name, okay? Vivo con la señora. So you will be living in a house that it could be only with a señora or with an entire family that they have kids about their same age, 17, 16. They could be younger because they might have younger brothers, and that's another option to live in a family. That's also cultural immersion, totally in a Spanish family, for example. And when you're on campus too, another way of support from student life is through counseling. We've seen that in the past 2 years, students are needing more counseling because the pandemic have affected many families in different ways, financially, emotionally, maybe the loss of some relatives, and also because the generations are changing and they're changing very fast. And sometimes coming over to Europe is like a big dream, but once they get here, that big dream, it's not what they thought it was going to be, because it's very different, because probably they never left their country for the first time. Coming to Madrid is the first time, and that takes a little bit of adjustment, but we're here to help you with counseling, with the professors, with all the stuff. You are never led by yourself. So I think that's very good. And let me say, the director of the sports department, if he sees you down, he say, come and practice a sport. There's nothing better to take your head out of the problem than physical stress. Play, win, scream, sweat, get all that energy out. And when you go back to study, you feel like renewed. So everywhere you're going to find some help.
I'm actually curious about that a little bit. Like, now that you mentioned the director of the sports department, kind of what opportunities are there for students to get engaged in things outside of academics? And then, what do students do with their free time? Like, what's the life like outside of school?
Okay, free time, since you're in Europe, and we are strategically located in the middle of Spain, you can, every weekend, students are going nonstop. We have 2 of our worker students today. We were in a meeting because the provost from St. Louis came to visit us, and one of the students was invited to the meeting, to the greeting meeting. This kid has prepared himself, he's from Arizona, has been preparing himself for the last 2 years learning the language. He speaks English perfectly. It's incredible how well he can talk. But it's funny because he's been studying about Spain, and every weekend he knows where in Spain he's living. On Friday afternoon, he's taking the bus, the train, or whatever. In 2.5 hours by train, by high-speed train, you can be in Valencia in 96 minutes, Barcelona in 1 hour and 14. You can take the airplane to go to Coruña, which is far from Madrid, is 600 kilometers, in 45 minutes. So he's planning all this. And this weekend, that was a little bit longer, he got an internet. He said, I booked the cheapest flight to an island in Italy. So he's been in Italy.
Coming to me?
Yeah, very close. I would have loved to know this before. And he was dressing today like in the 60s. I say, you're very much in fashion, because that's a fashion right now. No, he says, I bought this in a thrift store in Italy. This morning I didn't know what to wear, so I wore this, and we were all, guy, you are totally in fashion. So students over the weekend, or either SGA, the Student Government Association, prepares all kinds of activities. It could be through volunteering. It could be side trips in the city. There are a lot of little towns with a lot of history, like Avila, Segovia, Toledo. The Catholic kings lived in these places, just to visit them because they are historically interesting. Student life. Also, we go to San Ignacio in the Basque Country to see the home of the founder of the Jesuits, and then travel through all that part of the country, which is very interesting. You can do volunteering. There are about 20 volunteering groups we work with. Even if you want to start your own club, you can do it. Or you can join, we have a chess club, we have a math club, we have a wine club, a wine tasting club. We have one called Boca Talks. Bocadillo in Spanish is a sandwich, and boca is playing with the word boca, is mouth, talks, Boca Talks. So we offer their students that get together, prepare these sandwiches, and then you see them with a cart where you do the market shopping, but they fill it with the bocadillos, the sandwiches they prepared, and they walk the streets of Madrid looking for people, poor people that might be sitting on the street, nothing to eat. And they say, you would like to have a sandwich? We have ham and cheese and whatever. And they sit with them for a while and talk and all that. And that's one of our most popular clubs. Club volunteering thing, for example. Sports, there are 20 sports that can be played at our campus. We don't have sports facilities, but very close to our university, there is a large sports facility, very well equipped. If there was a sport that you would like to practice and we didn't have it, as the sports director Cesar says, we're in Madrid. All the sports are federated in Madrid. So I will find you a team to play with at the level you want to. You can be just amateur, you can be semi-professional or wanting to go professional. He will find you a place. We have 2 football teams, football or soccer, depending, football como en Latinoamérica, football como en España. Okay, soccer in the States. There is a swimming one, racquetball, tennis, paddle, which is very popular here. So there are a lot of sports that can be played. We also have agreement with some gyms in the area that you can go and practice aerobics, Pilates, yoga. So in that respect, that's also very interesting. And we encourage students to be active, to participate. There's tons of things that even if you get into the webpage, you can see other activities that we do offer. And also there are some classes that have a trip associated to it, like English literature. We go for a long weekend to the birthplace of Shakespeare. We attend a play. We travel we walk all the town, and the professor is telling all the history of the place and how was the time with Shakespeare. And that's one of our classes that are very well liked. We have an international politics class too that has a trip to the La Unión Europea, EU, yeah, in Brussels. They attend some of the talks and they can participate. And that's another one that students find very interesting. So there are a lot of things that can be done while you're here. And one of the things I really like about American education that is so flexible, and you can accommodate your hours you can choose when you choose your schedule to, for example, only have classes from Monday through Thursday, because on Fridays you want to study probably in the morning, and in the afternoon get on a bus, in a train, on an airplane to travel to somewhere and come back. So that's easier to be done in a system like ours than the average European university. And one more thing that I want to talk about also is the study abroad. While you're here in Madrid, you're able to do study abroad. I wish when I was going to college, this was available for us. It wasn't. So now I would be studying a semester here, semester somewhere else, and getting closer away from where I started and graduating from point A. So we have agreement with different universities in Europe. For example, you can spend a semester in another university in Rome, for example, Joe Cabot. There is one in Brussels, there is one in Amsterdam. You can see all the associated universities in our website. You can go there. So if you study, let's say, marketing, you tell our academic advisor you would like to go next semester and study in Rome and to keep on adding credits to your major. So we'll work with you to get your study of your classes to match with the ones in Rome. So when you come back, all those credits fill in the spots that they need to be. So I think that's a very interesting experience to learn about another culture, another language, and just having experience to move around the world. We're looking for a global world. And I think the American University does that perfect.
That's amazing. Yeah. You know, it just, the question kind of pops up for me too, this idea of like, you know, you have the option to study abroad. For students who are interested in kind of working, internships, that kind of thing, what opportunities are available? And then also kind of related, are there students who just work to get through college, to pay for college? What's the budget like for, you know, studying at SLU-Madrid? Yeah.
Okay.
Like 2 in 1. But
we'll take it by pieces. Okay. When you're studying in your junior year, you can start doing some internships depending on your grades too, because we don't want to, because you start working, having your grades go down. But if they're good, when you have been a student that has maintained a good GPA, we start offering you an internship. Otherwise, it will be in the last year of college, okay? Since you're going to be a foreigner in Spain, cannot work while studying. That's why we offer the internship before college is ended, because it would be part of the education. So that's the only way you can do it in Madrid. You cannot work to get paid like a paycheck at the end of the month outside of campus or outside of these internships that the university looks for our students to go to work. I don't know if I am clear there how to explain it, but as a student, you cannot work in Spain. So the internship is offered before the studies are ended. We have the career services department that is in charge of that, and we'll look for a place where you can practice what you have been doing in college. So in that respect, it's very interesting. We have a lot of students, for example, that work in the American Embassy or the British Embassy, for example. We have students that go to Banco Santander, Banco Bilbao. We have big companies that we can put you to work, to practice work and without being paid, but gaining a work experience. And we had students many times that the companies liked how they were, and they offered them, once they completed studies, a job, which is very interesting, because if you have a job, then you can apply to have a working visa. But that's more complicated, but it happens. Okay, we had a student like 20 years ago. This is very funny because at that time you could only do 2 years in Madrid and 2 in the States. He's a Spanish student, graduated from San Luis University with an aerospace degree, and he's working at NASA for the last 15 years. He was the one in charge of, you know, the Curiosity that landed in Mars a couple of years ago. He's the engineer that projected the route, how that little machine would get over there to the team. He was the chief of that team. So there are students getting very good, interesting positions. We have another student that, this is 2 years ago, she studied business, international business, because she thought she was going to be working for a big company, okay? And as a free elective at St. Louis, which I think free electives are very interesting for students, because she took painting. She always painted since she was a little kid, took painting, loved it. When she ended college, she started doing these paintings on blue jean jackets in the back. Beautiful paintings,
Wow.
very modern. She started selling it to friends and friends of friends. Now she has a business. She said, I never thought that I follow a business
Wow.
path to do that. And because I took this course, now I have my own business. And she is selling in internet jackets, skirts, and big paintings, mural paintings for buildings and office buildings and things like that. And I thought, this is incredible. That usually is not the case in a regular European campus or even South American campus, because you discover a little bit more of yourself sometimes when you have free electives like that. So going back to your question, career services will help you look for your first jobs. We have an agreement with the 27, I always mix the numbers, Jesuits universities, okay? So in a bolsa de trabajo that will be yours for your lifetime. Let's say that you're working, you find a job, and you're out of a job, you can contact us back in time. Contact us again. I'm looking for a job. I was working 20 years in this. We'll try to help you and find jobs for you. And in our network of universities, you can use that same network in different places, which I think is very interesting. Students finishing the last year in career services, that will help them to write a CV. They will record them to see how they talk, how they move when they're in an interview, which is very interesting because someone may go, and they'll teach you, don't do that, don't move your hands, you look like this. So all those things help you. And if they have been working on campus, for example, with that scholarship, they can put that in their curriculum right there the first time. And the interviewer will see that you're a person that knows how to manage time. You have time that you worked on campus and you manage it to also study and get your degree. And I think that's very important because also gives self-value to students to see they can do both. Yeah. So in that
Absolutely.
I know that we have the budget question too, but Monica, I'm so impressed at how well you know the students, of how they're evolving with their time spent at SLU and even what they're doing afterwards too. I mean, what is your role in your relationship like with students in general?
My role, to me, is very interesting. You know what I like about my job mainly? I get all kinds of applications. Great students are great because they're great. They're easy. You read them, blah, 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 in. I like the ones that are not great. There's the average student, which is fine, but then they're the ones that went to a college and they didn't like it and they didn't like what to study. So they're looking for options. They found us in internet search, or a friend told me that you guys go help me because this was help for me in this other institution. And those I have had and have right now, a few. And I love to follow them, to see them once they start, and I see them in campus. I say, Sebastian, how is it going? You prefer it? How are you handling this? Oh, this is a much better place. I have heard too, oh, this is difficult. I thought it was going to be easy. I said, yeah, because you have to study. It's a different way, but you'll see, keep pushing. And I see them maybe a month down the road. I say, how is it doing? Fantastic. I love it, because this of working in a team has forced me to work harder, to not be the one that is not doing anything in the group, or the group doesn't let you not do anything, you know? So in that respect, I think it's a beautiful experience. And then I have a personal, all through this pandemic, we went 3 months, we were 4 months working from home. And we have never worked harder, longer hours, and more direct contact with families, especially parents were calling. And just before starting, I got a phone call with a family that were here yesterday. I'll show you the picture because I have to show, and I know I have there they are. They're from Panama. Okay. They are from Panama. They came here because their daughter found us in Agents Fair in Panama City. And she knew that she wanted to go to the States to study, but she found St. Louis University, and she was the one that sold the product to the parents, saying, Dad, Mom, an American university in Madrid. She wanted to get out of Panama because she says, I cannot walk on the streets by myself. I cannot go out with my friends late at night. And Madrid seemed to be like that, according to a cousin of hers that is studying in Madrid. She's here. She's been here 2 years. She's in love with it. And that picture is this last Friday. The parents came with the brother to see campus, to see where his sister is attending, because he is already doing university shopping, or call it whatever you want, to see if he wants to come here to Madrid. And he's in his junior year of high school. And when he left, he's telling the parents, I want to come here too. We went all through campus. We saw his sister was sitting in the cafeteria at the time because it was lunchtime. And she didn't know they were coming at that time, exactly, that she was going to be there. Wow. So I think all of us in the in admissions department, we're very involved with the families. Obviously, one families get more involved with you than others, but that's like in real life, no? You have more friends that you're tight knit, and other ones that are acquaintances. The same thing here. Yeah. But usually you like to get involved because you want to see that they succeed, that they are happy, and actually that they find, many students, what they have told me, I have found my strengths here. I have found how strong I can be. I have found also my weaknesses, and I have found how to overcome them. So in that respect, I think that's beautiful. Regardless, every semester, maybe there's one student that gets here and say, oh, this is horrible. And in 72 hours, they're back home. And they never tried. Okay, but that's not the thing. And when that happens, that students, we see that is all the alarms go off in all the departments. We're targeting the student to see how we can prevent him from leaving, not because we want to keep him here. This is not a jail. No, we want to tell them, you have this opportunity, stay here. We even tell you, stay here 2 weeks. You don't like it, you have a total refund. Don't worry, but stay, try it. And how I would say, we push students out of the comfort zone, because at that age, when you're 18, you need to be pushed. And it's the time to do it. Go for it. Go for it. If you fall, stand up again, but do it. Try it. And I think the students that decide to come to Madrid, they are, yes, everyone is special because they have decided themselves to take that big step. And I think that's wonderful.
Oh, that's amazing.
So heartwarming. I was so happy to see that photo. I love this. I think it's such a great balance, and you can totally correct me if I'm wrong, but between being held accountable, and a lot of times it's just hitting here, and I was thinking of my own experiences because I did study in Madrid. I studied at a national university in Madrid for a year as part of my own study abroad program with the US. And even just the things that you were saying of, you do have to actually participate and be in person, because at national universities, the way is that you just show up for the exam at the end of the year. So exactly. I thought my class only had 14 people in it because that was all the students who came from my university, and we were obligated to take that class. It was a terrible class. I hated it. But and then when it was exam time, all of a sudden you couldn't find a seat in the classroom. I was like, where did all these people come from? Because I didn't realize that participation was just so optional, or that people retake classes as if it's so casual. I was like, no, I'm here. I got to get my grade. I got to participate. That's it. But I mean, of course, going above and beyond with everything that you're saying, but I was just reflecting on my own experiences. And of course, Madrid, I think, is such a special city to live in. I mean, you talked about great networks and outreaches that they can have in the community, and of course, where they can travel around Spain in general, which I highly recommend. It's a great experience. You don't even need to go to another country when you're in Spain, because everywhere, every town and city you go is just so diverse. But even Madrid in itself is just so, I ran even a half marathon when I was there to see the streets empty and run through the buildings. And I ran with the Spanish army there because they were really good pace and time. was so excited. You're just getting lost on the subway there, which works like a clock. But I mean, it was really great just exploring other neighborhoods there. I think that's also something that's really, you know, can impact when you're talking about housing too. If you're living with a family or you're choosing the residence, or I don't think my internet is good at all right now, but I'm just so excited.
Oh,
Madrid is so, so special.
Also,
And I think there's just so much
yeah,
that you're offering.
yeah, and Madrid is very easy to, as you know, to move around. And for students, it's really cheap. You get a ticket, a bonus, un bono, we call it, okay? And it's just unlimited bus rides and
wow.
metro, subway. And for 20 euros, you move everywhere you want. And also with your student ID, you get discounts in a lot of places, even a lot of museums are free for students on certain days. If you take a train, also you can get a discount. So in that respect, Madrid is a very student-friendly city. And as this girl from Panama said, Alexa, she says, the parents were saying to her, they said, you know Madrid even better than Panama City now. She says, yes, because I can move and I walk every
Wow.
place. She loves the
Yeah.
possibility of walking, not going in a car or anything, or their parents having to take her any place. So she's so excited here, and she's living every minute of it. So they finally got an apartment for the family, and they come here like home.
Wow.
And that said,
So
I
excited.
am so amazed to see her that when she was
Amazing.
home, everything was taken care for her. They did everything for her. They had help at home, so even her bed was made. And she said, here she's running her place, she's putting the laundry, she's cooking, she has a little cat that takes care of. The dad said, if I wasn't here seeing it, I wouldn't believe it, how she has changed.
Wow.
She's even telling us what to do or what not to do, or what street to go, or what restaurant at what time is the best time. So
Wow.
it's a different experience. Madrid, San Luis University doesn't have a campus. It's 3 buildings around a block, but your campus is the city. So it's an American university on an open campus. Campuses in the States are enclosed, as I say. If your experience, if you go to San Luis in Missouri, you will be living in an enclosed area. That's your little town, which I think is an excellent experience also to have. If you go from St. Louis, Madrid to Missouri, one single semester, the tuition fee will be the same as Madrid, and Madrid is about half the price of St. Louis, Missouri. And when you graduate from Madrid, from our Madrid campus, the diploma and everything comes from the States. So it's the same degree, different location. And the big difference is that we are an open campus, Madrid is your campus, and in a European background. So I think it's very interesting, and especially for South American students, that most of them, there's some kind of Spanish inheritance, not inheritance, heritage in their blood. I'm sure 2nd, 5th, 7th, 10 generations back. It's like coming home to a certain degree, knowing your roots.
Wow.
And if you're from Italy, go to Italy. If you're Portuguese, go to Portugal. If you're Brazilian, so you can also feel a little bit of your roots.
Wow. Oh my God, I love this story of the student, just the transformation, you know, like how much students can really transform living independently.
Yeah.
It kind of leads me to wonder too, like, what do you think are the biggest challenges for students in leaving home, living in a city far away? Kind of, what are the things that they have to adapt to and be ready for? Yeah.
One thing is, well, they have like cook. That's why we say a soft transition is going to a residence hall. Okay,
Right.
you don't have to think about grocery shopping. You don't have to think, oh, I do my laundry. Not, it's there. Everything is there. While if you're in an apartment, you might have it in the apartment, or you might need to go to a place to do it. Okay, if you don't clean your place, it's gonna be dirty. But in a residence hall, they clean it once a week. In the meantime, you have to keep it in order if you want, or it could be, I don't know, una jaula de grillos. You never know. So I respect. So the challenges would be, but nowadays, I'll put my example. When I left and I was in St. Louis, I talked to my parents once a week at the same time, Saturdays. In the meanwhile, if I was going to put a washer with jeans and a white t-shirt, I know the white t-shirt will come blue when I did the first mistake. Nowadays, kids, moms, and everybody can go with it. The phone, WhatsApp call, video, WhatsApp, mom, look what happened to me. Should I put this and this together? And it's so easy that even the challenges that you will face today are easier because you can talk to your parents at any given time or to appear here. Okay, but yes, there are challenges, of course, because you're leaving home for the first time. So it could be that you might fear that you will get sick, you don't speak Spanish, and you need to go to the doctor. Or you were robbed on the street. Madrid is very safe, but pickpocketers are in every city. So you just have to be careful. For example, instead of wearing your backpack in the back, wear it in the front. No zippers that someone could take their hands in, okay? For example, but if that would happen to you in the metro, someone hits you, you don't have your wallet. Oh my God, what am I doing? Who can help me? We have a 24-hour emergency number that you can call. We're there. I'm on the street, I fell down, I can get up and we go there, we'll help you. We call a doctor. We have a doctor, a Dr. Borras, that speaks perfect English, Spanish, obviously. He studied in the States, he's working here. So can communicate with any of our students. He belongs to one of the main hospitals of the medical insurance that all students have with a tuition fee that's included. So, for example, if something like that happens, that's many times a worry of the parents if he gets sick. Last semester, there was a student that got COVID and parents were, oh my God, what are we doing? We were with that student. He was in the hospital, spent 3 days just to make sure that it wasn't getting into the most deeper COVID or whatever you want to call it, the real sick ones. And she came out perfect out of it. But we were there. The mother couldn't fly because at that time, the borders were closed, but we were there talking with video talks every day. The girl could talk to her parents. So in that respect, if it's for health, you're covered. We have that 24-hour number for anything. It could be health. It could be that you're having a panic attack in your dorm and you want to call us, you can call us. We need to know from you. That's why we always say, we are here for you. And that doesn't happen in a regular Spanish campus. They assume that you will manage some way or the other. So in that respect here too, I think that you're pampered. Okay, that's why I say it's a boutique university, because everything is done with detail and with care. Because for us, what is most important is our students. We do everything for the students. And we try to hold their hands all the way. They afterwards, they learn to do it themselves, but they're guided. Okay, we don't tell them, you have to go there. You should do this. It's your choice. But this is the path that you should try. Go through there. You might take a detour because there's always people that are going to do what they want and get in trouble. But even if you get in trouble, we are here and we'll try to manage to get you out of that maybe travel or not comfort zone or problem that you might have gotten in.
It's amazing. So different.
No, it really
from
sounds like
university.
an extended family.
It is an extended family. And as a matter of fact, one of my colleagues in the department, she has visits from alumni every week, 1 or 2, because they call them, I'm coming with my parents, let's have lunch. And when we travel to those countries, for example, I go with her to Cairo, we get invited every night out with families that have had sent their kids to St. Louis University, Madrid, which I think is fantastic. One interesting thing for us and for students, you will have friends for your lifetime that you will meet while you're attending St. Louis, Madrid, or any other university in the world, but especially here. I had the best friend I have in the States. I met him in my junior year in St. Louis. They come to my house every 2 years. They're from St. Louis. They stay with us, with me. And when I go there, I stay with them. And that's a lifetime friendship and a real friendship. So we're in a global world. And I think this little globe here called SLU-Madrid, that's the old way, because the new students call it slum. And I don't like it. SLUM for Madrid, but slum, please Don't call it a slum. SLU-Madrid. But different generations, different times. And they say dearly, huh? So it's okay. I'll take it that way. But yes, it's a little global place. Think that this semester is 800 students, 54 nationalities, 50% are Americans, 15% to 17 this semester, Spanish. The rest, 54 nationalities in that group, I think is very special, makes it very special. Last fall, 19, there were 68 nationalities on campus. So depending on the semester, it fluctuates, but it's very interesting to have people from everywhere. And I think also classes are very enriching. Imagine a political science class. 4 years ago, this was a large class of 27 students. They were debating about Iraq-Iran situation, hotspot. Every single student was from a different country. Think about that debate, how enriching it is to be in a class like that. How some may be very argumentative and very, what are you telling me? And the other one, hey, I'm your neighbor country. What are you telling me? And then maybe a third party, an American says, hey, you guys, we always come. So what they learn too is to listen, learn, and maybe if everything goes well, agree into something that is good for all. So in a class like that, hey, that doesn't happen in all universities. And our professors are as diverse as our student population. We have professors from the States, Spanish, from Argelia, from Germany, French, from Canada, right now we don't have from Africa, but we used to have 2 from Africa, from the Middle East. So that too, I think is very interesting. And we have full-time professors and part-time professors that do teach in the Spanish universities and other universities in the area. What I think it makes it also interesting because they bring to class both ways of teaching. So I think that too is a special thing of our campus in general.
Wow, completely. That's such a global message that you're sending, and how you're able to productively discuss something in a classroom setting. I mean, I know that other campuses try and mimic it in different ways, and maybe having a cultural night or whatnot, but it's so nice to see it so well integrated in who's even chosen to be part of the faculty. And then obviously the students who are also contributing too. I mean, I'm sure that we're both buzzing with questions. I'm so completely appreciative of your time, Monica. I did want to ask, as far as students who maybe are concerned of how COVID may have affected what they've been doing in high school. I mean, obviously you've mentioned Panama and the lockdown has been pretty intense, but know that maybe they would be a good fit, and just trying to have them maybe reach out. What would be the best way of doing that? And then also, what would be really, especially in reading applications, what would be kind of most important for them to keep in mind in moving forward through the process, and realizing, okay, I would be a really good fit in this sense, and they can also see that too.
Well, we ask for the entire high school transcript. Okay, I thought I lost you for a moment. My screen went blank. The transcript, an essay where you can write about yourself. We ask a question of what event of your life has made you the person you are today, but you can write about anything. Okay, especially this pandemic year, we had received many students talking about how COVID affected their grades, their family because someone died, their GPA came down, explaining different situations. So when we look at an application, besides looking at your transcript from high school, your GPA, which is important, okay, we look at that essay that you write about. If we see something in the GPA that there's a fluctuation in years, we also will write to you to let us know. We will have an personal interview with you. We try to have a personal interview with all the students before being admitted, okay? And also letters of recommendation from teachers. They're not a requirement, but I always say that they do support students' candidacy. That can make sometimes a breaking point that we say, oh, you could fall between this scholarship, but it's right there, but they told us what happened. I said, okay, let's go ahead and give the next one up. Okay, so we try to look at the student as a whole, and we're always in contact. If we see something at that, when you turn all your documents, that we need to get more information, the first person that we'll contact is the student. The other persons that we might contact are the professors that have sent us recommendation letters. Also, it's a requirement to, since we're talking to all the South American, Latin American, Caribbean, Mexico, that is North American too, countries, you need to have a minimal level of English that you can see it in our website to be admitted. That doesn't mean if you don't have that minimum, we cannot admit you. But if you have a minimum, you can be admitted into a semester bridge, which will be 3 courses of English. So we can get your English to a university level, and 3 courses of the core liberal arts curriculum. Okay, it could be something easy, so it's not complicated for you, while you are getting that English level up. So as that, we require TOEFL, IELTS, or Duolingo test. Shall I say that this last one, Duolingo, we have offered it now because with the pandemic, there were a lot of places where you couldn't take a TOEFL or IELTS because they were canceled. There are many places where internet connection, you cannot connect to these exams. So we take the Duolingo. It's also through internet, but you can do it anytime, in any place. You can have that exam. We will admit you into 1 semester bridge with Duolingo, but before the classes start, the day before, you will be doing our institutional TOEFL exam. And if you score the grade that can bring you out of the 1 semester bridge, you will start with a regular semester. Okay, so I would say the most interesting, besides the transcript of your high school, with that, you cannot do anything because you've been doing it for the last 3-4 years. So that's already there, set. You can do the best in your last year if you want to see if you can achieve a better scholarship. I would say the other 2 important things would be that written essay, that personal interview, and letters of recommendation. I would say in that order. Okay. Also, I should say that for the ones that are very special, and this includes special requirements, a certain GPA, having done the SAT, if you come from a Latin American country, that's why I'm here for. If you don't come from an American school, we're going to ask you for your national exam of entry into higher education, if it's mandatory. For example, Venezuela doesn't have one. Each university has theirs. Brazil, until now, they had the vestibular, or they also call it, I forgot, they call it another name. Right now, I went blank. Now, it's not mandatory right now. You can send it or not. So we'll look at that too. If it's a requirement in your country, we'll ask for it. If not, no. And if in the country the student comes, he comes from an American accredited American school, you can apply test optional. You wouldn't need to turn in an SAT or an ACT, but you will need to turn in a TOEFL, okay, or an IELTS or Duolingo. But if you turn in an SAT, no English test is needed because the SAT measures English knowledge too. I don't know if I was clear enough there, but is this?
Yeah,
no, I love hearing it from the source of what, I mean, obviously the application requirements are on the site, and if they end up varying in the coming years and this video is outdated at that point, they know that they can look there. But I think just the message of, really concentrate on your essay. The letters of recommendation, yes, they are optional, but this can make a difference in a scholarship. I mean, I can say it, a student can read it, but I think it always really helps directly in saying, these are great ways to support you and other voices of what you've been able to accomplish and, who you are, and talking about your character. So I'm really appreciative of that.
And also we might look also some extracurricular activities or things that are different that you have done that are interesting. So everything counts. We look
very
at
holistic.
It's not only your GPA. Okay, so we had admitted students that had maybe a GPA in the limits or even a little bit under. But it was so interesting to see what they've been doing. That is, hey, why not? Let's give it a chance. Let's see, because sometimes, I'm telling you, I read an essay, I look at the entire transcript, all my documents on hand. Now on hand, no, it's on screen. And I said to myself, hi, this is a very interesting student. I think they should come here and like bloom. Actually, that would be the word, bloom, into what you can see there they can become. Sometimes we're wrong, but we like to see these blooms. And I'm telling you something, on graduation day, my director many times touched my shoulders and hands me over a Kleenex. And because they're graduating there, and I cry all the time. I don't have children, okay? I cry. And especially when they turn around, because the director says, and now please, let's turn around and give thanks to the parents that made this possible, or families that made this possible. And when they turn around and I see the parents and I see the kids, it's like, oh my God. It's to me, I get goosebumps right now. I live like where my kids every semester, so it's so funny, but it's true. It's true. I feel like that. So this scarf has the mascot of the university is a billiken. It's like a little, or you cannot see it because it's very small right there.
Oh.
And he is supposed to be a good luck charm, and someone has to give it to you. So while you're in college, someone will give you a little billiken to have it there on your table. You rub it for good luck in your exams. You have to study, obviously, like or whatever. And on the main campus, there's one that is about this big. No, bigger, but it doesn't come in the screen, in bronze. And the belly is totally polished because students go by. Let me have good luck. Let me have good luck with that. So I'm a really billiken in my book. So, and the ones in Madrid, we call them biliqueños, madrileños. We made a combination of the words. So the ones that at San Luis campus in Madrid are biliqueños. So I hope that whoever is listening to me wants to experiment to see if they would like to become a truly biliqueño one day.
Oh, wow.
That's a beautiful message. Monica, you're giving me goosebumps here.
Yeah, me too.
I love feeling too that it's obvious that you love what you do and that you're supporting these students all the way, even after graduation, and staying in touch with them. That for me is just so special, and seeing that relationship and the care put in of who's actually attending, what the experience that they're getting. I mean, I love the idea that you have a family. It's really daunting to make this decision. So I completely love it. I know that we've taken a lot of time, but even if you want to say a message in Spanish, if you want to just kind of close everything up of anything you feel like students should know, just to put them at ease. I think there's just so many concerns, emotions, excitement. And obviously, if this is really a great fit for a student, I think you've been very transparent of all the wonderful things that you have to offer.
Bueno, como sé que las dos habláis español y tú en especial, me partí de la risa cuando te conocí porque hablaba un español perfecto con un acento italiano increíble, que yo le pregunté si era italiana. Entonces esa es la maravilla de ser internacional y hablar bien un idioma, aunque sea con otro acento de otro tercer país. Así que nada, yo para los estudiantes, porque sé que muchos hablarán inglés, unos lo habrán entendido muy bien, otros no, otros dirán, mira, esta chica habla con acento español en inglés. Eso da igual. Yo sí que me gustaría que cuando busquéis una universidad, no cerréis vuestras puertas, pensad, si sabéis lo que queréis estudiar, es fácil. Si no lo sabéis, buscar un sitio donde os pueda dar la libertad de cambiar y no ir hacia atrás, ¿vale? No quiere decir que ir hacia atrás y empezar de cero no valga, porque todo conocimiento, eso te lo llevas con dinero, sin dinero, en la guerra, en la paz. Eso siempre va en tu corazón, en tu cabeza, ¿vale? Pero en un sitio hoy día que todo cuesta mucho, que es difícil, y tener la oportunidad de estudiar en una universidad americana, que es, yo creo que una experiencia ideal, buscar muchas, encontrar la que mejor os sea. Y yo creo que Madrid, cuando eres hispano, cuando vienes aquí, te sientes un poco en casa. Yo nací en Venezuela, ¿vale? Vine a España con 17 años. Mis padres, mi madre nació en Lyon por la Guerra Civil Española y volvieron sus padres a España. Mi padre se fue de jovencito a Venezuela con 19 años y nunca dijo que quería volver a España, pero cuando yo terminé el bachillerato dijo, quiero volver a casa ahora porque si no, a lo mejor no volvemos nunca. Y yo volví. Y a mí, yo llegué aquí y me sentí en mi casa y nunca había estado en todos los años. Entonces, pienso que venir aquí a San Luis, si eres americano, si eres sudamericano 100%, si eres medio o cualquier combinación, es una oportunidad muy interesante de conseguir un título internacional que te va a servir en cualquier parte del mundo, terminar siendo bilingüe totalmente, sea inglés o sea español. Si tienes experiencia en un study abroad, que te vas a Italia varias veces o a cualquier otro país de otra lengua, coger otra lengua, yo siempre pienso que en el mundo que estamos viviendo por lo menos tienes que hablar 3 idiomas, 3, y si hablas 4 mejor. Entonces creo que es justamente el sitio. Estamos aquí para orientarte, para que nos preguntes, para que te comuniques con nosotros vía Zoom, a través de tus agentes, como quieras. Estamos aquí para ayudarte a ti y solamente para responder. Y si decides venir a Madrid, cuando llegues aquí, siempre pasa por admisiones, que luego se olvidan de nosotros, quieren a todos los departamentos y yo te admití, no te acuerdas, y los vas buscando. Entonces pasa a darnos un abrazo y para que te podamos decir, bienvenido a Madrid. Eso es lo que puedo decir. Cualquier pregunta, aquí somos 3 personas, nos preguntas a cualquiera de las 3 que te vamos a contestar encantadas, y yo en particular, que tengan cualquier pregunta de su colegio, que es un colegio que es así, que es un colegio que ofrece el IB, con el IB puedo ir o no puedo ir, claro que sí, con el American System, claro que sí, con el de mi país, claro que sí, vamos a buscar el happy medium to have you here. Así que con eso, desde Madrid, como se hace ahora en todos los sitios, nadie te da la mano, todo el mundo se agarra el corazón. Me despido de vosotras. A vosotras también estáis invitadas a venir a visitarme y yo espero poder visitaros a vosotras también.
Claro que sí, Mónica. Gracias.
Y que sepáis, de nada, tenemos todos los virtual campus en nuestra web a distintas fechas, distintas horas, en inglés y en español, que eso también os puede ayudar con alguno de otro compañero de la oficina y ver su punto de vista, que también es interesante. Así que desde mi casa en Madrid os despido. Gracias México.
Gracias, Mónica.
Con nosotras, Alina, Kristen, me encanta tu van, es genial. Yo cuando sea grande quiero uno.
Sí, está padrísimo.
Bueno.
Gracias por todo.
Gracias a todas
Mónica.
vosotras. Chao.